Welcome to the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
Hey, CGX family. How's it going in your neck of the woods? How are your classes going? How's your life? We had a snow day and I spent most of the day actually here where I'm podcasting from right now in my home gym, just surrounded by animals and music and a big long to-do list that I've been working my way through ferociously. And I want to talk to you today about imposter syndrome. And how much I hate it. I hate it. I hate that phrase. It's actually kind of a catchy, like, buzzword. So I think it's kind of caught on and just become part of our rhetoric. And I see it like in posts and in, hear it in people's stories. I would say, like, I don't know, I'm going to guess an average of like once a month. And don't forget, most of the people I follow and am connected with are fitness professionals. So that means I'm seeing it from people like us. And I just want to admonish you tonight to not use that phrase anymore. And just, I want to quickly talk about why and send you on your way. So Google and AI define imposter syndrome as a psychological phenomenon where someone doubts their own abilities and achievements, persistently feeling like a fraud despite evidence of their competence, believing their success is undeserved and that people will eventually realize that they're not qualified, essentially feeling like they are not as capable as others perceive them to be, even when presented with proof of their success. That's fully loaded. And my call to action is that we stop using the phrase literally, that we just eradicate it from our vocabulary, to acknowledge it if you do truly feel that way. I don't want to invalidate you. So if you truly feel that you're a fraud, if people knew better, they wouldn't put as much faith in you, to acknowledge it gives it power. It's very similar to the episode I did a couple weeks ago about don't you do it, when I was talking about social media don'ts. Do you remember that episode? One of them was, don't let your disease define you, because you see a lot of that on social media, maybe as a tactic to niche down. But it ends up giving power to that, not to discredit someone that has an illness by any means. I'm not being insensitive. I'm just saying it gives it a foothold in your life and it gives it power. Everyone listening to this show, I have no doubt, wants to be their best self. And talking about imposter syndrome, posting about it, is absolutely not in alignment with your best self. In fact, giving it a voice, giving it power, is feeding your worst self, the weakest version of you. And if it's not about that, then it might be false humility or even fishing for compliments or validation, which is honestly even worse. Confidence is the sexiest thing in the world, right? It's the sexiest thing we can wear. We've seen memes and stuff like that to this effect. Confidence is so attractive. It's magnetic. We want our life force to be cloaked in confidence. I mean, we don't hear Beyonce talking about her imposter syndrome. last week when I did the episode of all of us in the car, there was 6 of us in the car, yes, talking about what it takes, to like it was how the sausage is made regarding professional video production and stuff like that. It was a great episode. If you missed it last week, go back and listen because we podcasted from the car. It was really fun. But in the whole interview, Elizabeth, one of our talent team members, she literally, she had just led a warrior strength video like last month. And so I specifically asked her how she was feeling about, like, how did it feel, And she literally said, not knowing that I have this, not knowing that this is how I feel very passionately about imposter syndrome talk, she literally says the words, in last week's episode, sitting on the like floor of the middle seat of the truck, she goes, I don't have imposter syndrome. So she led with that. And I was like, oh, you are my people. Hold on, I gotta let the dog in. Come on, puppies. She literally said, I don't have imposter syndrome. So I want us to normalize saying that. Like, let's be people that say, I don't have imposter syndrome. To make that statement basically says, I'm confident. I believe in myself. I think I'm smart. I think I'm talented. I think I have a lot to bring the world. God's given me gifts. Let's normalize saying, I don't have imposter syndrome. Post about that. I'm already ready to recap because I don't need to beat a dead horse here. It's unattractive. It fortifies it when you speak it or write it. And it paralyzes you from becoming your best self. So stop saying it and watch it go away. I guess I'll give my confession now, because really at the root of imposter syndrome are some very real things and things that I experience myself, things like self-doubt, insecurity, and fear. Those are real emotions that I experience and have experienced. And I guess my confession is just that I'm very, very human and very much experience those emotions. And a time that I remember, let me let the puppy out. I'll take you with me. A time that I really remember feeling overwhelming. Come on, babe. Overwhelming fear and insecurity, and was my first conference with my company, with Warrior. So this would have been circa 2021 in Virginia at the DCAC conference. I mean, I was sick to my stomach with nerves. We were a new format. No one had heard of us. I literally was worried no one would show up. I honestly thought, like, no one had heard of us. So no one really knew me either. So, it's not like I started a format and I already had a big name that had credibility and was reputable. And so I was honestly worried nobody would come. So my stomach was sick and I was practicing my face off in the hotel rooms and all that stuff. Anyway, all that to say, the rooms were full, overflowing, people working out in the hallways. Oh, but my point in my sort of confession, to tie it into this whole topic tonight, is I talked about my imposter syndrome after I felt successful and confident, fully confident, completely confident which was after the event, during and after the event. So I guess my advice is, if you want to be authentic and you want to share pieces of you with the world that are, honest like that, do it after the fact. Do it after the win. Do it after the confidence has come. So I remember sharing with people. I don't know that I used the phrase imposter syndrome. I don't know if I did or not, but I remember, sharing that story about how, what a spirit of timidity and fear I had. But no one knew going in. I didn't tell people that going in. I just talked about it retrospectively, in hindsight, after I had overcome those fears and doubts about myself. So that's my confession / related story. And thank you so much for listening. Let us know. Do you struggle with quote unquote imposter syndrome? It's okay if you do. That's a real thing. Just don't talk about it. Don't give it any power. All right, everybody. Until next week, enjoy teaching your classes. You're changing people's lives. We're making the biggest difference, each one of us. All right, bye now.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a warrior instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.